Hey guys, it's Alice Addams. Today's video, I'm going to be talking to you about my earlobes. This is sort of like an earlobe scalpelling update. If you haven't seen my other videos about my earlobes, I'm going to put the links down below in the description. You should probably check those out before you watch this one if you haven't seen them already, just so we're all on the same page. So it has been 10 months since I had my earlobes scalpelled. It's actually pretty crazy because I can't picture my earlobes being an inch or less anymore because I'm just so used to having them this large. I'm now at 1 3/4 inches. I did not make any attempts to stretch my ears after the scalpelling surgery was done. They just did that on their own. I've made no effort, so it's pretty amazing. I would just wake up with newly stretched earlobes every 5 days or so. I found after 1.5 inches, which was my last update I believe, they seemed to slow down. They weren't stretching quite as quickly, but they definitely still have stretched since then. I think two sizes. This is a size that I'm really comfortable with. I find that they're large enough to be like, whoa, you got some big earlobes, but they're not shocking looking to me anyway. I know that if you're used to seeing smaller lobes, then this is probably a shock, but to me I just find they're not super crazy, but they're still big enough to be like, yeah. If they were to get bigger from here, I wouldn't be upset about it, but I am at a point where if they decide to stop, I'd be okay with that. So something that I've found has become really comfortable, both for sleeping and just for everyday life, is when I flip my earlobes over the top of my ear like so. I find it really helps to, I don't know, keep them tucked away so they're not like dangling all over the place because they wobble. And as for sleeping, I mean, I touched on this in a previous video, but I do still sleep with those like airplane neck pillows just around my ear if I want to keep my jewelry in. But I am at a point now where I can take my jewelry out to sleep. I don't take them out and just leave them like this though, because I find they do seem to shrink really quickly, which I wasn't expecting. Like if I leave them out just like this for one night, it's really difficult to get my jewelry in the morning. But this is what they look like now. They're like super all healed up. I can stretch them around. They're totally fine. And yeah. I do find though, wearing the wood jewelry, this is wood with mother of pearl, I find wearing any wood jewelry makes them really dry. You're probably noticing they seem a little dry. That's what's happening. Something that I find that's been helping with that, not only for putting the jewelry back in my ears, but just keeping the area nice and healthy, is massaging them at least once a day with coconut oil. Or I've used After Inked as well. If you haven't used this before, you might like it. Sorry that it's so washed out. There it is. Because if you think about it, like if you're using something that's made to heal tattoos, it's made for when your tattoos go through that dry, flaky phase, as well as to put on basically an open wound, right? So it's good. It keeps everything really nice and healthy. I'm gonna go ahead and put some of this coconut oil on my earlobes. So this is sort of what I do. I sort of like rock back and forth at the base of the lobe. This really makes sure that you're not missing anything, and I find you can actually physically feel the earlobe becoming more conditioned. Then I take a little bit more and I actually scrunch the lobe against the top of the hole and just kind of massage them around like this. I find what this helps to do is keep the blood flow really well all the way through the earlobe, because we don't want to miss out on that blood flow. I should mention, I'm not a piercer, I'm not a professional body modification artist or anything like that. This is just what I've found has been working for me. Everyone has different ways of doing things, so if you have something else that you like to do, that's awesome. But this is just what I like to do, and people are asking me what I do, so yeah, and it actually feels really good to massage them, so yeah. So then once that's all nice and greasy, like so, we are gonna put our jewelry back in. So I usually will stretch it out, put it at the bottom first, and then just kind of like follow the edges all the way up until it's in. Something that you guys should probably know if you're considering getting your lobe scalpelled, because I had no idea that this was a thing until I got to like a relatively large size. There's like this little piece of cartilage or something in this corner of your ear at the bottom. It sort of like attaches to this part, but underneath. If you're wearing circular jewelry, you'll notice that I have teardrops in right now. That's for good reason, and I'll explain in a minute. If you're wearing the circular shaped jewelry, I find it applies a lot of pressure on that cartilage because it's like pushing up against this part of your ear, and it can be really uncomfortable. I do still wear the circular jewelry, but I find that I can only really wear them for about 4 or 5 hours before I have to either take them out or flip my ear around the top or put teardrops in or something like that. Sometimes artists will actually go ahead and while they're doing the surgery, they'll just cut that piece of cartilage out since they're in the area anyways. My artist did not do that. So yeah, so now I feel like for the most part, I would only want to wear teardrops because of that. And it's actually really hard to find teardrop shaped plugs in this size. That's another thing too that I didn't realize. The bigger you go with your ears, the less options you have for jewelry. Ideally, to wear these circular shaped jewelry, I'd wear a size like slightly smaller so that it's not pressing up against that cartilage piece. I have noticed that the larger I go with my ears, more people sort of ask me about them in public, whether it's said in a nice way or a not so nice way, which I mean I should have anticipated this happening because they are, I guess, more like attention grabbing when you can notice them more when they're bigger, but it's just been interesting being out and about and having so many questions about my lobes all the time. A lot of people think that they're just clip-on earrings or something, and then they realize that my earlobe is under here and they get a little bit freaked out. Sometimes in public, I'll catch myself just kind of like hanging off of my ears like this because it feels good, and I don't really realize that this isn't normal for people. This isn't something that a lot of people are used to seeing, and I get a few weird looks or in some cases like horrified expressions coming my way, but it just feels good and I just want to like hang on it, like blah blah. Like some people text when they're bored. I just hang off of my earlobes. This is just a thing. I'm just gonna go ahead and flip this back around. My hair is probably all in there. It gets stuck like through the hole. So I just bend the top of my ear down and I put it around. And there we have it. And that's kind of what it looks like after. So, I mean, if you see this, like, my ears are naturally really, really small. So I always forget that until I tuck them up and it's like, oh yeah, my ears used to be really little. I don't know if I mentioned this in any previous videos, but having this procedure done has really opened my eyes to the heavier side of body modification and has really made me want to pursue more mods like this. I think the next one will be getting my tongue split. So I have a piercing there right now. So I think it would just be a matter of take from that hole and just take the rest out down in the middle, cutting a piece of pie or something. Pie. I do owe you guys another sugar update, speaking of pie. The piercer at my work had told me that I should probably stretch my tongue piercing before I get the scalpelling done because apparently that'll help it from wanting to completely close up while it's healing. So anyways, that might be a video that you guys see in the future, is talking about my tongue splitting. So if you have any future video suggestions for me about my mods, or if you have any questions at all, please comment down below. I would really appreciate that. And if you found this video was neat or helpful in any way, please give me a thumbs up. I love to see those thumbs going up. And last but not least, you know what's coming up, subscribe to my channel for more videos like this. and for more videos that are not like this, but that are still cool. Thank you so much for watching, you guys. I hope you have a stellar rest of your weekend. At least for me, it is a weekend, or maybe for you, it's the rest of the week, whatever day you end up watching this video. But I hope that it's wonderful and stellar and beautiful, just like you guys. Bye!